Hello YouTubies, this is King Scribe, and thank you for watching one of my Bodacious and amazing YouTube videos. So, I never knew I had to get in contact with my inner Saville. I mean, I've been seeing the new documentary about Psychopath Night, and this is an ongoing series by the looks of it, series 1, episode 1, and you can guess next week will be episode 2. First impressions of it are, well, I expected that to happen. I mean, it was probably worse than what I expected. They didn't really cover anything, if I'm being honest. It was just more like denial of psychopaths in charge, you know, the ones in the politicians and the ones in charge weren't really discussed in this particular documentary at all. The first episode, nothing discussed. They went to the prison system and they interviewed a serial killer, and then they talked about a couple of serial killers, and then they talk about the movies, psychopaths who are also serial killers, and they cover a lot with the serial killers, but they don't really talk about the other kind of psychopaths. However, they did, you know, do a psychopath test, a self-assessment psychopath test on certain pupils at Kevin Dutton's university. I can't really call it a university, but that's where he works. And they got the checklist. They covered certain people, and I found out there's 2 people more psychopathic than the rest of them. Now, they're not psychopaths, but they're more psychopathic. That's what he was saying. And you know, he then tried to show them as being good for him, you know, or they'll do the bungee jump for me, or these people are amazing. And then they took the 2 people who were more reserved characters and said, would you like to jump off a bungee jump? And they said, no, can't be arsed doing that. They literally had to push the other girl up the bungee jump. I mean, she obviously didn't want to go off at first, so it wasn't exactly she was really brave at it. I mean, I know people, well, I don't know them personally, but I've seen people do tight ropes off, you know, high-raised buildings. I mean, these people who are really brave are not necessarily psychopathic at all. In fact, some of them are empathetic. They are pretty nice people. But the test that was being done on these people was just bizarre. It was like they're trying to prove that, you know, people who are what they would call go-getters are psychopaths, and many of them are just not. They have psychopathic components to their personality, but that's about where it ends. You know, they're not serial killers, they never will be. And I think that's what his point was. But then again, it doesn't really cover anything, does it? Look at the psychopaths in charge of this country, of the world, who are ruining certain aspects of our modern day life. You think of people like Tony Blair, people like Jimmy Saville. They never got sent to prison. You know, you only found out about Jimmy Saville later. He was praised as a god. Yeah. Just like you're doing with these lunatics, you know, from your college or wherever you are. Oh, he's in university, isn't he? I'm sorry, I'm just taking the mickey there a bit. But you know, I'm watching the documentary, and it's denial. It's more denial. You know, if you're just talking about serial killers, you don't cover the rest of psychopaths who do damage. And this is what my main purpose of making this video is. The psychopaths who don't murder but do a hell of a lot of damage in the modern world. Now, I thought that this would at least try to look at these type of psychopaths, but oh no, they're just seen as, you know, you want them on your team. That's what I saw in this particular documentary. That's why it was so bad. I mean, it's unbelievably bad. I thought it was going to be a lot better than this. I thought, you know, obviously they're going to try to butter up people, you know, to look at psychopaths differently, but they didn't even cover it. They didn't even cover the other criminal aspects of psychopathology. You know, the people who do fraud, the people who abuse their kids, wives, whatever, abuse people in the office. None of that was covered. Now, I don't mean that these people abusing people were, you know, doing it in a bad way. I mean, they were just, these people are bullies, they're cold, they humiliate people, they bully people, and they threaten people, and they gaslight people. You don't see any of this in this particular documentary. You just see Kevin Dutton just talking about as if psychopaths are amazing, and he does really pick out two people not psychopathic at all. Okay, they're a bit arrogant, they're a bit full of themselves, but that's about it, you know. And I wasn't impressed with the test. You know, I want to see them, you know, do a tightrope between two high buildings. That's what I want to see done, without any safety. No harnesses, nothing. Just tightrope across the building. You know, from one building to the next. I've seen people do that. I want to see those two do it, and then we can start to divide. You know, who really is brave, and who is being supported by a harness that will protect them from falling. Yeah, I wasn't impressed with that. That's not a test of psychopathology at all. I would do a bungee jump. In fact, Kevin Dutton, if you watch this, I'll do a bungee jump. I'm not a psychopath. I will do one. I'll do one 10 times in a row if you want me to. How about that? You know, at least I get a free bungee jumps. That's what I'm saying. I win any way this goes down. But I'm not really impressed with the test at all, because it doesn't. Okay, you know, psychopaths are more likely to do it, but it doesn't necessarily mean that non-psychopaths wouldn't do it either. Mind you, they would probably make me do some skydiving instead of the bungee jumping. There's not enough challenge for the king of YouTube. We're going to have to do something a bit different. Maybe they want me to do a tightrope themselves, I don't know. But I'm just saying, you know, psychopaths are not. They're not just serial killers, I get that. But you're making out the ones who are not serial killers are all good. There's where the problem lies. You know, the people you're testing are going to end up being, you know, dare I say, gits for the rest of their lives. You know, they're getting brainwashed into thinking having psychopathology in their makeup makes them a better person. That's where this was all coming down to. And then covering the movies was just, didn't really do anything for me. I mean, we know who the psychopaths are in movies, but they're all serial killers. You know, they're all people who go about killing people, and this is the main problem I have with it. Aren't you going to cover any other types of psychopaths except serial killers? Because what it does is it's denial. It's denial. It's saying the only bad guys, the only bad psychopaths are the ones in jail who are killers and violent. The ones who are not in jail, who are not violent, are pretty nice. You know, you want them on your team. Yeah. No, I don't. Because if you actually look at other people's work on these guys, these people are extremely damaging for businesses. They're really damaging. They don't care about the business. They don't care about other people involved. And it's not a good thing either. You know, I understand that, you know, businesses need to work, but these people actually rob the businesses. They steal millions. They damage the corporations when they're in charge. It's not a good thing. And you know, they're just talking about the bankers because they're well known, and they covered it a little bit. You know, few seconds covering it, and then saying, "No, they're not too bad." You know, they're all right. You know, it's an accident. You know, so some of them are, you know, oh yeah, they showed the one who was supposed to bring down the banking in 2007, 2008, where he was saying, I want to rip out somebody's heart and eat it. Yeah, to cover the, you know, serial killer sort of aspect of this. Not the clever psychopaths who are in charge, who are devious and manipulative and ruin lives. Nothing like that. Just, you know, make sure they look violent if you go cover it. Because, you know, only the violent ones are bad. Yeah. I want to see this documentary changed in a way. I want to see we could talk about the corporation psychopaths. We know about the serial killers. You can cover them a little bit, but you made the bigger part about the serial killers. And you didn't really cover any corporate psychopaths at all. You just picked out a handful of students, made them fill in a self-assessment, and obviously the higher the score, the better you are. That's where this is all going down. You know, make contact with your inner Saville, guys. I mean, I was thinking about this when I was watching it. Yeah, that's what was going. I saw somebody comment about making in contact with, you know, your inner Saville on his own page. I thought that was hilarious, and I actually was thinking about it myself. I'm not the only person who thought of it. It's quite amazing that more than one person is thinking, you know, Saville. You know, this is where this is all going down, isn't it? You know, Saville was unmasked. Yeah. And it's put fear in the psychopath community. They know they're on a losing streak here now. They know that we're after them. They know that the king of YouTube is going to unmask lies and frauds all over the world, and he's going to, you know, look at this Channel 4 documentary and consider it a complete piece of rubbish. I mean, maybe I'm being a bit too harsh, I don't know, but I want to see more than this. I mean, why wasn't Robert Hur, why wasn't he covered more in this? Yeah, why didn't they show him more? Because, you know, he's one of the guys I want to see talk. I want to see a big interview with Robert Hur, because you don't really see him that often. You know, he's the main guy who understands psychopathology, but yet he's not really covered much in the psychopath community. Can't really call it that, but he isn't. I would say that this TV series is going down a route where they're going to just talk about serial killers, and they're going to create a gaslighting technique where only the serial killers are bad, and they won't talk about the other people in prison who are not serial killers or violent and not psychopaths. They'll just cover the violent ones, yeah. And only the violent ones are in prison. Only the violent ones are the ones who are responsible for the bad things that happen in life. But, you know, the non-violent ones can actually drive people to suicide. They can drive people to lose businesses, to lose their jobs, to lose their family. They can divide and conquer communities and other people. This is what they do. They're evil. All psychopaths are bad for the world. And this, you know, thing about killing baby Hitler. Let's go into this a little bit, right? Baby Hitler. Would you kill baby Hitler if, you know, you had a pillow in 2 minutes? I mean, that is not really even a decent enough question, because these people, you know, they were ranting. Almost everybody said, yeah, they would. Right, so everybody there's a psychopath, right? My thoughts on this are completely different. I asked somebody on not YouTube but Facebook if he would actually kill you know, baby Hitler, and he said no, because he is inspired by Hitler. You know, Hitler caused hundreds of millions of deaths, and if that didn't happen, then, well, there'll be a lot more people in the world overpopulating it. That's what came out. You know, a psychopath is more likely to bring up a Hitler than kill a Hitler. Don't forget that. They're more likely to bring one up, even the non-violent ones. So, you know, these people saying, oh yeah, he's going to be dead. Bollocks! You wouldn't kill a kid anyway. You know, what you go do, you go strangle a kid, and then suddenly the police are knocking on your door and you're serving 30 years. That's exactly what would happen. It's completely irrelevant. Now, would I flick a switch to kill Hitler? No. Would I flick a switch to kill Ian Brady? What the bloody hell's his name? Ian Brady. I would flick that switch to electrocute him in an instant, without thought, and I would laugh about it later with my friends. Right, so, am I a psychopath? I don't think so. Why wouldn't I kill Hitler? Because, you know, they have to cross a line with me. If they cross a line, you know, of hurting kids, etc., I will cross a line too. And that's the big difference. That doesn't make me a psychopath. That just makes me somebody who is, right-headed. But I wouldn't kill a kid under any circumstances, because the first thing is that the fact that I don't want to serve time for that. I don't want to serve time to kill a scumbag, because it would actually cause me problems. That's the big issue. But, it might be interesting to, sort Ian Brady out. I mean, that would be real fun. 10 minutes in a room with a cricket bat, that would be pretty nice. A potato peeler to peel off the skin, lovely. I'll be in for that, actually. I would do it. I'm not kidding. I would do it. If I could get away with it, I would do it with Brady. But I wouldn't bother with it, Hitler. Because it's not going to happen, is it? I mean, that's what I'm thinking. How can I actually touch Hitler anyway? He's dead. I don't think he was totally responsible for the war, actually. I think it was more down to other people. He was just insane. To put it bluntly, he was just insane. But the ones who were saying, they would kill baby Hitler, no, you wouldn't. You're full of it. You wouldn't even go. You wouldn't do that at all. You're saying you would, but if it came to a situation where you knew there was an evil baby in a room, you wouldn't touch that baby at all, because you know what would happen if you did. All of them said they would, so every single one of them would, kill a kid. Nah, I don't buy it. There's millions of evil kids in the world. Okay, so when you go kill one, I'm asking the people out there, who did this documentary, when you go kill one, you can tell from when they're more or less, a couple of years old that they're evil. You can get away with it when you go do it. Because you're not going to do it. That's why I don't like this documentary, because it's full of crap. It's full of people who are, they're in themselves. Everybody's got a bit of a narcissistic personality in a way. But to claim that, that this is a psychopath test is a lot of rubbish. Kevin Dutton has made some really odd claims with what shows a psychopath and what doesn't. A psychopath would not kill a baby, just for the sake of it. I mean, well, some of them would. The serial killers, yeah. But, in fact, let me just clarify this then. If they would, then doesn't that make all psychopaths evil in the first place? Doesn't that completely expose you as a liar and a fraud? Yeah, because you're saying that all psychopaths will kill kids. Yeah? If they get a chance, with a pillow in the room, they'll all do it. That's exactly what you're saying. I know most of them wouldn't anyway. Even if they knew, that kid would grow up, because they don't give a damn. That's the main purpose. And if they do give a damn, they're inspired by it. That's the big difference. They love the fact that this kid is going to grow up to kill millions. In fact, they want that. That's exactly what they want. You ask a real psychopath, what do you think of Hitler? They say, he's a fantastic guy. In fact, as I said before, a psychopath is more likely to bring up a baby Hitler than to kill one. That's the big difference. And if you're saying they're not, I'm talking about not the criminal aspects of psychopathology, not the evil people who are in for serial killing. I'm talking about the normal psychopaths, the garden boring variety. They are more likely to bring one up because of the way they bring people up, the way they actually treat people. They're more likely to bring up that type of pathology into the world than not. In fact, I won't be surprised if Hitler's parents were psychopaths. Okay? And that's where I'm going with that. I mean, I've gone on that topic for quite some time, but I just found it a little bit strange that you would actually think that just because somebody says they would actually do it. No, they wouldn't. I know they wouldn't. It's like saying, would you kill a serial killer if you had a chance? No, you wouldn't. You get your head kicked in. That's exactly what would happen to you. You wouldn't go near, a killer or somebody who's been, in prison for killing people. You wouldn't go near them. You wouldn't dare do it. That's what most people are like. I know that for a fact. So, to claim that these people, just because they say it, that means they wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. I actually like the, I'm not sure he is. I'm sorry about the, there was a guy on there, who said he wouldn't kill the baby Hitler. I actually like that guy. I thought he was pretty sound. That's the type of guy I would want on my team. You know, he was an African. Well, he's from the UK, so he's African English, and he seemed to be pretty cool. The rest of them seemed to be full of brainwashed propaganda. They didn't know what they were talking about. But most psychopaths wouldn't touch kids if they're smart, because they know they wouldn't get away with it. They're not going to sacrifice their own personal safety for it, and in fact it's a ridiculous test anyway, because they know for a fact that they can't predict what this child is going to grow up to. It's irrelevant, because you can't say what's going to happen in the future, because you don't know. So, you know, it's all theoretical. I mean, another thing where he says, oh, psychopaths are more likely to save lives. Since when? Kevin Dutton, you tell me when a psychopath is more likely to save a life, and I'll be impressed. Is it Tony Blair? Is he more likely to save lives? Well, he went to war, killed millions of people in Iraq and other countries, so no. Is it Bill Clinton or the other presidents in the United States who are psychopaths? No, because they've gone to war. They've killed millions of people. They've killed children in wars. They've killed a lot of people. I don't know any instances where a psychopath is going to save lives. I don't. Maybe they've got a God complex and they like to do surgery. But then again, you know, many of these people kill people and never caught. I know that's happening. So I don't. Somebody explain to me, when is a psychopath more likely to save a life? They're more likely to put lives in danger than save it. And if they are trying to save a life, it's not usually because they want to. It's just because they're either being paid for it, or, you know, other people do it as well. You know, to say, oh, it's all these psychopaths are surgeons. They're not. The majority of them are not psychopathic at all. I honestly don't understand where he's coming from with this. I've never seen a psychopath in charge who's more likely to save lives. You know, in fact, they brainwash people into thinking that eating crap is good for you. You know, eating Mars bars and sweets and crisps, you know, a little moderation all the time, because nobody can eat that stuff in moderation, is good for you. And it just isn't. It causes cancer and stuff like that. And were they more likely to save lives? Somebody come on this video, tell me, drop the comment bomb down below and say, where exactly are psychopaths more likely to save lives? Because I've never seen it. I know they say surgeons, but other people are surrounding the surgeons. You know, there's more than one person there. And if you think that, you know, somebody, I don't know, getting their ears pinned back or something is saving a life, you're more insane than I thought you were. There's different people. There's nurses, there's other doctors there. Maybe they're more responsible for saving that person's life. When it is a psychopath in the hospitals, there tends to be more deaths. So, is that saving lives? You know, is Howard Shipman saving lives? Does he really help the statistics for life saving? I don't think so. It's the people who actually do the hard work. I mean, I don't agree with the drug industry, but I think some of it actually does work. You know, cortisone seems to do a good job, and some of the medication does actually do some good in the short term. But I've never come across a psychopath who is adept at saving lives. They're more adept at taking it. You get what I mean? You know, oh, and that Andy McNabb, you know, oh, he's more likely to save lives. Well, if he's in the wars, isn't he shooting people dead? Is that saving lives? Where exactly is the saving lives? Somebody, come on this video. Kevin Dutton, I honestly challenge you here. Come on this video, drop the comment bomb down below, and tell me, when is a psychopath more likely to save lives? And don't give me one of your students either. I don't want to see a student coming on a video who has a score of 20 odd, claiming that a psychopath, when they're not. You need a score, I think if you're doing it from the Robert Herd checklist, you need a score of 30. So they're under it, but I mean, most of them are full of BS anyway. You know, you can take a couple of that score off just based on the fact that it's self-assessment. It really needs to be done by a professional, and I don't think the guy is a professional at doing this. And I don't trust the students themselves. I think they're more likely to, you know, remember bad things they've done and fill it in. If I remember bad things I've done, I would score something like 30. It's like, I mean, King Scribe would definitely score pretty high. But I'm not a psychopath. I'm a bit of a git. Definitely not a psychopath. I'm a narcissist. I'm a complete narcissist, you know. I'm a complete narcissist. I'm king of YouTube. It's not narcissist. It's just the truth. But this sort of thing, it's just a little bit irritating sometimes. You know, I'm not irritated. I'm just excited making a video criticising the program. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you want to see something where it's interesting about psychopaths, watch somebody like Thomas Sheridan. Read his books. I mean, that is pretty interesting what he's talking about psychopaths. He's talking about the non-violent, you know, variety. The fruitcakes who are in offices, etc., who do damage, but they're not violent, and they seek to destroy you. They will spread smear campaigns. They will literally destroy your life if they need to replace you with themselves. And they bully the way up, and they are swarmy to the people who they're trying to, you know, make out that the good guy, and that's how these people work. But there's this woman who was you know, trying to kill her husband, but before that she was trying to get him back into prison. You know, she planted drugs on his car, phoned the police, said, oh, there's some suspicious activity going outside, and you know, it was it's, you know, that's the sort of psychopaths we want to see on this documentary, but nothing like that was shown. It was just the violent ones. And when they were trying to show the corporate psychopaths, they didn't talk about them at all. They did a bit of banking, but that's about it. They did a little bit, but it wasn't. I wasn't satisfied with it. What am I trying to say here? I've been drinking a lot of fruitcake. I've been drinking a lot of fruit juice recently, and because I've been watching this program, I mean, I'm not really that impressed at the moment. Maybe it'll change later on, but at the moment it just seems to be a gaslighting technique by the Channel 4 and Kevin Dutton and the team, trying to make out that psychopaths are nice if they're not violent, and that's completely wrong. They are not nice. None of them are nice at all. Bar none. None of them at all are nice. Not one single psychopath you can meet in the street anywhere in the world is a nice person. None of them do any good in society. In fact, if they all just suddenly disappeared, I'll be happy about it. And that, you know, it brought tears to my eyes listening to that alleged psychopath on the program, who's called herself a sociopath, and said, "Oh, I don't want to be taken away on a cattle train." Tough luck, you're going. You're all going. I don't want to see psychopaths around. That's the big difference. I don't care about you guys. You think I do? I really couldn't give a damn. You know, if you all disappeared tomorrow, it'll be celebration time. You know, we'll celebrate the new year early. But I don't give a damn what happens to you guys. It sounds horrible, but you know, these people do so much damage. And the video's gone on for nearly 30 minutes. I think I'll end it there. So next week, I think it comes on again next week, because it's only episode 1. There's obviously more episodes to come. Next week I'll criticise it again, obviously, because I don't think they're going to cover the corporate psychopaths. They may cover the bankers over and over again. I want to see them talking about the politicians, the evil people in charge, the ones who lie to your face, who try to destroy your health and diet, the one who try to corrupt your children into thinking that being like psychopaths is a good thing. I want to see things like that covered. I want to see the gaslighting techniques covered, but I've seen nothing at the moment about the non-violent psychopaths who do the damage in stealth mode. They don't act, they're clever, they do the damage that way, and these people are being shown as a good light and good for society in this particular program. It's what I expected would happen, and it's what I've seen happen in this program. Anyway, guys, you've got to get in contact with your inner Jimmy Saville. Okay, that's what this program has told me. Get in contact with your inner Jimmy Saville. Be good, try to get a high score on the psychopath test, because that makes you a better person. And look forward to your children playing the psychopath card game. You know, the biggest psychopath on there will be the star card to get. That's what I predict in the future. Anyway, thank you for watching, and goodbye for now. See you later.